Good evening. I'm Kenty. Today's my lesson is number 3. You don't find your purpose, you build it. Okay, let's start. How do I find my purpose? Ever since Daniel Garrity, Oliver Segovia, and I pushed out our book published our book, Passion and Purpose, 6 years ago. I've received hundreds of questions from younger and older people alike about purpose. We're all looking for purpose. Most of us feel that we've never found it, we've lost it, or in some way we are falling short. But in the midst of all this angst, I think we're also suffering from what I see as fundamental misconceptions about purpose, neatly encapsulated by the question I receive most frequently: how do I find my purpose? Challenging these misconceptions can help us all develop a more well-rounded vision of purpose. Misconception Sharp 1: Purpose is only a thing you find. On social media, I often see an inspiring quotation attributed to Mark Twain. The two most important dates in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. It neatly articulates what I would call the Hollywood version of purpose, like Neo in The Matrix or Rey in Star Wars. We are all just moving through life, waiting until fate delivers a higher calling to us. Make no mistake, that can happen, at least in some form. I recently saw Scott Harrison, founder and CEO of respected non-profit charity Water, speak, and in many ways his story was about how he found a higher purpose after a period of wandering. But I think it's more rare than most people think. For the average 20 years old in college or 40 years old in an unfulfilling job, searching for the silver bullet to give life meaning is more likely to end in frustration than fulfillment. In achieving professional purpose, most of us have to focus as much on making our work meaningful as in taking meaning from it. Put differently, purpose is a thing you build, not a thing you find. Almost any work can possess remarkable purpose. School bus drivers bear enormous responsibility, caring for and keeping safe dozens of children, and are an essential part of assuring our children receive the education they need and deserve. Nurses play an essential role not simply in treating people's medical conditions, but also in guiding them through some of life's most difficult times. Cashiers can be a friendly, uplifting interaction in someone's day, often desperately needed or a forgettable or regrettable one. But in each of these instances, purpose is often primarily delivered from focusing on what's so meaningful and purposeful about the job, and on doing it in such a way that meaning is enhanced and takes center stage. Sure, some jobs more naturally lend themselves to a sense of meaning, but many require at least some deliberate effort to invest them with the purpose we seek. Misconception Sharp 2. Purpose is a single thing. The second misconception I often hear is that purpose can be articulated as a single thing. Some people genuinely do seem to have an overwhelming purpose in their lives. Mother Teresa lived her life to serve the poor. Samuel Johnson poured every part of himself into his writing. Marie Claire devoted her energy to her work. And yet, even these luminaries had other sources of purpose in their lives. Mother Teresa served the poor as part of what she believed was her higher calling. Curie, the Nobel Prize-winning scientist, was also a devoted wife and mother. She wrote a biography of her husband, Pierre, and one of her daughters, Elaine, won her own Nobel Prize. And Johnson, beyond his writing, was known to be a great humanitarian in his community, often caring personally for the poor. Most of us will have multiple sources of purpose in our lives. I find purpose in my children, my marriage, my faith, my writing, my work, and my community. For almost everyone, there's no one thing we can find. It's not purpose, but purpose we are looking for. There are multiple sources of meaning that help us find value in our work and lives. Professional commitments are only one component of this meaning, and often our work isn't central to our purpose but a conduit to helping others, including our families and communities. Acknowledging that there are multiple sources of purpose takes the pressure off of finding one single thing to give our lives meaning. Misconception Sharp 3. Purpose is stable over time. It's common now for people to have multiple careers in their lifetimes. I know one individual, for example, who recently left a successful private equity career to found a startup. I know two more who recently left business careers to run for elective office. And whether or not we switch professional commitments, most of us will experience personal phases in which our sources of meaning change: childhood, young adulthood, parenthood, and empty nesting, to name a few. This evolution in our sources of purpose isn't flaky or demonstrative of a lack of commitment, but rather natural and good. Just as we all find meaning in multiple places, the sources of that meaning can and do change over time. My focuses and sense of purpose at 20s was dramatically different in many ways than it is now, and the same could be said of almost anyone you meet. How do you find your purpose? That's a wrong question to ask. We should be looking to endow everything we do with purpose, to allow for the multiple sources of meanings that will naturally develop in our lives, and to be comfortable with those sources changing over time. Unpacking what we mean by purpose can allow us to better understand its presence and role in our lives. That's it. Thank you.